Welcome to the Business Odyssey podcast, where real business challenges come alive and we focus on the human side of it. Today, our conversation is about the intersection between music, technology, and AI and what we can learn from there. We are joined today by Rafel Jaume, originally from Spain, and we go straight into a conversation that explores the human aspect of the changing world we are living and how to stay true to ourselves and use AI and technology at our service, not the other way around. Happy learning. Hello, Rafael, and welcome to Business Odyssey podcast. It is a pleasure to have you here. I'm really excited for the conversation that we are going to have now. So before we jump straight into that, I would like you to introduce to the audience so they can hear from you directly.
Sure, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. My name is Rafael. I'm a musician. I have done a musical and I have done choral also compositions. I'm a pianist as well. And I guess I like to work in the intersection, or my work is at the intersection between AI, education, music, and philosophy. So, I like to reflect and think about these topics that I think are relevant in the times that we live in.
Yep. So you mentioned that intersection. So that is one of the questions I wanted to ask you. But if I am allowed to ask first, like, what is your real passion? Because you have just mentioned a little about it, but
Yes.
to go deeper, if you can share with us what is your passion, and then I will go straight to the intersection that you mentioned.
Sure. Um, I guess my passion, well, one of my passions is music for sure. And I'm a composer. I've been a pianist. I am a pianist, and I've been a choir conductor for many many years. And now, regarding music, what I do is composition, right? So I composed a musical that opened at the Bayard Theatre in Scotland, in St Andrews, last February. So now we are in the process of recording the album with the cast members. We are very excited for this. I have also composed choir pieces. That the last one of them just was played, was performed last month in here in Barcelona, in the auditorium of Barcelona. Um, so yeah, music has been a part of my life since I was born, basically. So I guess this perspective, the fact that I consume music and I produce music, this is a perspective that I like to nurture always, and also I think it provides me kind of a unique way of seeing things.
Okay, yes. So that unique view also is related with the intersection question I wanted to ask you.
Mhm.
What, from those three fields, the music, the AI, and also the technology, so what have you learned so far? The tricky question is, uh, where the limits between those two meaning AI and technology, breaks on an operational level.
At an operational level, what do you mean specifically by that?
Yeah, okay. It's when we are, because we are talking about here the applications, open widely, the application of technologies and the
Mhm.
application of, and the use, I will say rather than the application, the use of AI. So when it's come to music and everything you have learned so far on how you develop music, how do you implement music, how do you improve music, as a consumer and also as a producer. So what can you translate that expertise into the AI world and the technology?
Right.
And from that, where do you see these limits of, okay, this is not operational possible, or it will break the systems on an operational side?
Right. I think this is a very good question, and not an easy one. Um, because I guess we live in a world where everything is AI right now, and it should be AI, otherwise you are left out, right? But coming from the artistic world and coming from the from education and being a professor, I guess having the experience of connecting with people, and knowing that what I do has an impact of people, and what they do has an impact on me, that kind of experience, I think it is what stands out. So when we're talking about technology, we're talking about specifically when we're talking about AI. I guess the question um, shouldn't be how can we, from that operational perspective, how can we optimize these experiences, right? To make them whatever. I guess the question is, what is the meaning behind all of this? What is the meaning behind what we are doing, right? So I guess it wouldn't, mm, to me, it wouldn't mean anything to have an AI kind of substitute the big part of my process, of my like compositional process. Let's say when I'm doing a piece, because that's precisely the point of me doing a piece, right? So when I sit in front of the piano, and when I sit in front of the blank page of score, with the staffs, and that's it. you know uh, the experience of being lost in creation, I think, is one of the most powerful experiences that we can have, because it makes you connect with yourself and connect with something else that's beyond yourselves, ourselves, right? And connect with the rest of humanity, right? So when I write music, I am connected, right? And I'm connected with the big C, and I'm connected with the transcendence. I'm connected with the rest of humanity, right? And precisely, if I know that my piece is going to be performed in a special place or by a special group of people, that is even more powerful, right? Because I can wait for them to see reaction of like, hey, I did this for you, but I know that my work ends here because now it's your piece and you're gonna perform it, right? So now I'm done. Now I'm gonna let you feel it, and put part of yourselves into what I've written, right? So that process really is something very, very special. And you have to experience it. You have to live through it. Now, once you've been lucky enough to have had one of these experiences, even from the creation part or the compositional part, or from the audience part, um, you understand that when we're talking about technology and we're talking about optimizing the processes of things, it's not that easy as it sounds, right? Because in the end, we are, as human beings, we are wired, to call it that way, to have that kind of experiences, even if it's business, even if it's in class, even if it's in a meeting, right? So I guess we're living through times that are becoming more and more alienated, and I guess what we can learn from music is that even though we can use technology to make amazing things and incredible things that can be applied to medicine, to science in general, even in music, which you can talk now you want. I guess what we need to understand is the meaning of what we are doing, because otherwise we're going to lose ourselves along the process, right?
Yes, if I understand correctly, what do you mean by meaning? You also referring also to the purpose and the impact, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Purpose, impact, this all has to do with meaning, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we can even talk about a deeper kind of philosophical existential sense, right? The meaning of what we do, like our place in the world, right? So
Yes.
I work, let's say, I am passionate about music. You were asking me before about passions, right? So you were asked, we can talk about music, we can talk about education, right? So I
Yes.
see these things about, things that for me have meaning, and because when I am part of them, I feel good about it, and I put, the gifts that I've been given, and the gifts that I've been, nurturing all these years into place,
Mm-hmm.
for that purpose, for the people I work with, and for an end goal, right? Which is both, the end goal is both what we are producing and the process of it, right? And if we go back to I guess we have to talk about an angle, just considering that final result, not the process, which is one
Yes.
of the biggest issues that we have right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because from the business world, or even the world of the consultant, what I have seen is, yes, I want to go from, the decision is I want to go from nothing, not even I have nothing. It's just majority of the work is done manually, to go straight to automation or even agentic AI, directly jump into that. So in the middle, there is one piece, or at least one of the pieces, but from my point of view is the most important one, is the people. So when we are talking about the human aspect of that, so where does it stand, and what can you bring in, from your perspective, when we are talking about AI and technology, how the human factor sets at the same table and at the same level as well. Because right now is everything. I will not generalize, because it depends, and depends on the minds of the people. So,
Mhm.
but what I've seen so far is, you take that decision from going to 0 to 100%, and meaning 100% is automation, but jumping instead of going steps. It doesn't have to be like 10 steps, but not jumping directly. It's like, I don't recall right now how to say that expression in English, but we have that, one of that in Spanish. But nevertheless, the point is, um, yes, there are many companies that are going directly to that decision, and after that, is they are doing this for the people outside the organization, or even inside in some case, but for. And the
Mhm.
key word is for, not with. So, how do you see that point of view? I mean,
Right.
yes.
Yes. Um, you know, one of the things that music has taught me, and it keeps teaching me, um, is, well, is leadership, in the sense of, and I want to see how I'm going to relate it with what you were saying, um, in the sense of, I am in charge of bringing out something that is inside each one of the people that I'm working with, right? And this is very, like in philosophy, this is called meiotics. That this comes from Socrates, right? And you can see that, in a choir or in an orchestra, each one of the musicians knows perfectly what they are supposed to play. So mm, mm, and when I'm conducting, the same, I guess, when I'm teaching in class, my job is not to tell you, hey, play that note, or tell me this thing, or do that. So my job is to bring the what's real. So bring what you can bring on the table, right? So and this is something that in leadership, especially, I guess, in the business side or in the consultancy side, is something that, many times is not understood like that, right? Because in the end, you want results, and which, of course, right, we're here to make money. That's it. Yes. So we need to finish the fiscal year with the results that we set out to do, to accomplish, right? And if those are not accomplished, then we have a problem, right? um and I guess both approaches have to live, um together, even if it's difficult, because otherwise we become alienated, and having, and I use this word alienated, because I guess it describes perfectly the situation, right? We are just, setting, or placing that human element, or that what makes us like people, apart, right? And I guess the purpose of it, again, talking about meaning and talking about purpose, of the company. Okay, you said for the people, right? And I said yes. I mean, that should be, one of the key points of companies, right? To do that for the people. But I don't see that we're seeing that precisely, nowadays in the current market situation. I guess all the hype generated around AI, why is it for exactly, right? So companies are not prepared, in general. Companies are not prepared to adopt AI per se, because the data structures are not there. So the data the data of the companies is not prepared to be included in these AI systems, so the performance can be much optimal. So there's a lot of work before we can be AI ready. So the concept of AI readiness is something that people talk about nowadays, especially in consulting environments, because now all the companies need to be AI ready. So we need to help them get all their data straight and set to be on board of this kind of change, because this is going to bring, this is going to be amazing, and this is going to be it's going to be prosper and whatever. But let me doubt that. Okay, I'm not saying is a hard no, but it's not a yes. It's, I guess my answer is everything has consequences. And people say, and experts say that, oh yeah, this is like um the industrial revolution back in the 18th century and the 19th century, and this is just a matter of adapting, right? But I guess now, the difference is that the changes are happening much faster, right? And we are risking kind of losing ourselves in the middle of it, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, are we working for an economy that is based on human performance, or are working for an economy that is going to be based on tech performance?
Mm. Hmm. So that's a few questions that we need to ask ourselves and to think about it. Because also, I was thinking also, based on your experience and your work that you have already done and you continually doing, is this. I'm not sure if the right word is dilemma, but it is, or maybe the intersection. But also,
Yeah.
when we are talking about AI and the creativity of the human being, and also what are the ethics, because
Mhm.
from a transformation perspective, yes, AI will help you to do a lot of things. There are manual things that maybe you don't need to do anymore, and then the humans can focus on the creativity of the work, on the innovation of the work. But that's not the standard, and it is not the best case scenario for sure. No, actually, it's like today is an argument to let people go, or to justify let people go. So from that point of view, is, I mean, we are not talking even about strategy and so on, and we will not enter into that. The point is that dilemma, all that yes, intersection between AI and the creativity of the human beings, of the people that work with AI,
Yeah.
and also the ethics. So, and I will add one more layer into that, because from your research, your work, there is something that caught my attention, that is the part of the education. I mean, you are a professor, so when it's come to the role of education, and from the business world, when you want to escalate something and to be sustainable, the education goes from the very beginning through the full journey. So it will never end. And what happens today is you do that at the very beginning when there is a deadline that you need to complete. So yes, like the education part of it. Also, I will add to the question. So I understand that it's a very long question. I tend to do that sometimes, but we can break it to make it simple as well.
Yeah, let's try to break it, okay?
Okay,
Because first, okay, so first, um let
the
me start with the end.
creativity.
Yeah, okay, the creativity part. I guess when we're confronted with these kind of questions, I agree with you. This is mainly used as an excuse to let people go, and and um, and say, hey, you have to adapt to these new times, and AI is gonna, you can use this as a copilot, right? And it's gonna be amazing because you can focus on what really matters to you, right?
Mhm.
As a worker or as a, even as a professor in education, or as an artist or whatever. But we see every day how scared people are becoming about these tools, um, because precisely they are allowing you to, mm, at least I am scared of them, and I'll tell you why. Because they are allowing everyone to feel so powerful without doing nothing. And we are just dumping our brains in these tools in the hopes that they are going to give us the answers that we're looking for without putting any effort in it. I see every day in class. I see it every day in class. So that's why I have mostly gone offline in the sense of, you know, let's go with chalk and the white or the blackboard or whatever, and I'm gonna just write and, there,
Mhm.
and do debates in class and make them talk, which by the way has always been my favorite way of doing class, because just talking and thinking, right?
Yes.
um Especially when we have the luxury of doing this kind of class. I'm not saying like in math you have to do math, of course, right? Or I don't know, and maybe engineering, of course, or physics or whatever, right? But when we have the luxury, and I say luxury because there's a tendency of not doing this in general. When we have the luxury of having classes that are thought provoking, these are the best classes, and these are the classes I wanna be as a student, and I wanna be as a teacher.
Mm.
I want to teach, right? So when I go offline, then things happen, and you can see how the gears are turning, and people, students are reflecting, and I have these eureka moments, and people are like, oh yeah, but I haven't thought about that. And the beautiful thing as is that many times they think about things that I haven't thought about, and that really makes me better at my job, right? Because it's like that kind of a consistent kind of learning among each other, right? And this is something, again, the experience of it, the human experience. When we're talking about music before, I was talking about that experience, and now it's the same, like the experience, right? So talking about creativity again, um, is about, again, it's about having these experiences, and doing something with them, not only having them, right? So
Mhm.
doing something with these experiences, and then shaping them into new forms of meaning. Yes. So we can argue if AI is creative, if AI is not. AI is not creative, at least the way I understand creativity, right? Because many people understand creativity as, hey, I have learned and I have seen a bunch of things. I have read a bunch of books. I have seen, I have listened to a bunch of music. I have whatever, and I have these ideas in my head, and I just mix them and I create something new. Well, that pretty much sounds like AI, right?
Yeah.
Um. So 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 what's the difference, right? So what is, um
Mm.
what makes what I'm doing genuine, right? And I mean, this is the question, really. Yes. And I'd say, okay, to me it's two things. The first one is that every time you iterate on something, you relive this experience, and that changes you. So we need to talk about, you know what is, what is being human, in the sense of what is shaping what is shaping our soul and our mind and our body, and ourselves. What is shaping us? And when you do art, when you create art, even if it's music, sculpture, painting, or whatever, you really understand this, because you go through the process of creating something the same way experiences create you. So now you are in the position of creating something, so you understand that you have been changed through these experiences. So it's not the same, the one that starts a painting with a blank canvas, and then, after, a week, for example, of working, finishes the painting,
Mm.
and, you know the experience that you've had has changed you, because you have gone through many, many, many things, psychologically, emotionally, physically, even, that have, uh, allowed you to give form to what you've done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people call that transcendence. Great, amazing. Yeah, people are scared about talking. People are becoming more scared to talk about the transcendence of things and the meaning of things, right? But I'm not, and I think we shouldn't, because that's part of the human condition, right? So when I'm in class and I'm doing a debate, or I'm asking questions, I'm very much I very much intentionally have this approach in mind of you know trying to provide this experience of they need to go through stuff to understand what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
you know you
Yes.
know you know what I mean.
Yes. But there is a question that is popping up in my head:
Yeah,
is what happens if we stop thinking because we are delegating 100% of what we
right.
do to the AI? I mean, we will be like, it remember one, not one, but a few episodes of Black Mirror. So
Yeah,
it's coming, that is coming out into my mind right now. So what happens? What is us? What will be the difference then between an AI and a human being?
right.
Uh,
um I had a professor back in the day that always told us, I don't know what people are talking about critical thinking, because it's just thinking. If you are not critically thinking, you are not thinking. Right?
so
and then and then I remember being like, yeah, but I'm thinking every day, so I guess I'm okay, but I'm not, because I don't know if I'm thinking critically, right? So I guess I am not thinking critically then, right? And I guess there's a concept that I like, that I do explain a lot in class, even though it's not related with anything, but I like to talk about this, which is metacognition, right? Which is the fact
okay.
that you are aware of how you think, like that awareness, that consciousness of yourself, your body, and your mind, is kind of, nowadays I think it's going to become like the compass by which you are going to be, you know let's say, aware that of your actions and your thoughts, right? So the moment that you realize, hey, I don't know what I'm doing is this, but I just realize that this is what I have to do, but I don't know why, and I just, which sounds crazy, and that sounds obvious, that at some point people have to question themselves and think about what they are doing, and the meaning that again, the meaning, right?
Yes.
They have to question, like, their decisions. Something as simple as what am I gonna have for lunch today, and you say, well, I don't know, I'm just gonna order something because that's what I have available, or which is, it is what it is, or say, I like something, but I don't know how to do it, or it's not going to be available in any restaurant, maybe I have to cook it myself, so what do I do? you know which is
Yeah.
so simple and so not transcendent, but 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 that's that. So imagine if we just, if we have automated this, like, this huge amount of decisions in our daily lives,
Mm-hmm.
and we are in the process of automating more and more and more and more and more. They're just gonna come one day that we are just not gonna, like, think about anything, but then we're gonna have a problem, because thinking, critical thinking, and feeling and emotion, and the experience, this is something that is part of human condition. So even though we are going through a process of alienation,
Mm-hmm.
this, something is going to pop up in some place, like in time we're going to see that something is going to happen. People are going to start having, like, trouble with, I don't know, with the meaning of everything. I don't know, people are going to start questioning out of the blue. People are going to be like, yeah, okay, but why do I have to do this, in the sense of, what is, maybe, why do I have to work in this? Because let's talk about market, right? So
Mm-hmm.
universities and the market, that's not a big issue, right? The offer, the studies that the universities provide are mainly to fill the blanks in the market. Like that's kind of the like the market and the capitalist point of view, right? But then there's another point
Yes.
of view which is, yeah, no, but other universities, they have these like studies that have been there forever, you know, which are part of who we are. And I'm talking about, you know, from medicine, which is something that will always be there, right? We'll see with technology, but for now medicine will always be there. And I'm talking about art and history, and who study this nowadays, and you don't see anyone like doing any kind of advertisement for these kind of studies, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
humanities are not sexy, right? They
Yeah.
have never been, but now they need to become attractive, right? Because we have seen that this technology is putting ourselves as a society in a position where people are not understanding anything of what's going on, right? And parents come at university and say, and at schools, and why do my children need to start studying AI? You know, if which we see that, you know, in the end
Mm-hmm.
everyone is becoming like substituted, and you know, maybe 50% of well, this is true actually, like this is from a Gardner report, like 50% of junior entry level jobs
Yeah.
in like in big, like in the big four consultancies, are being cut off because of AI. They're like junior entry level jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the other day we're talking about this with my students, and we were like, yeah, okay, so what do we do now? You are about to finish your degree, right? So you want to get a consultancy job, and what do you do?
Exactly.
So they were asking, so they were becoming conscious and aware of the situation, but they were becoming aware at that fourth year, at the last year. And I'm like, well, why don't we prepare them from the first year to be able to navigate the
Mm.
world where everything is going to change all the time, right? And the only way you can do that is by helping them and teaching them and us how to understand how humans work, how the market work, and how do we work as a society. And I guess it takes some degree of bravery to look at the future and say, I don't know what's going to happen, right? And to look, like, to look in the eyes of, you know, yeah, the future, and say, look, maybe I'm not gonna have a job tomorrow. Maybe, you know, any of this is gonna make sense,
Mm.
right? But if I understand who am I, what is my place in the world, what my strengths are, why, the best parts of me are, the worst parts of me are. If I understand how do we work as a society, how do I work as a human being, how do I, move within a group of people, right? What can be, and what can be my place in the world. I guess these things, that really is what we call the humanities, right? Which is,
Mm-hmm.
history, philosophy, art, whatever. It's just about understanding who am I and who we are, right? and
Mm.
and
Yeah.
understanding our past and our present to kind of try to deal with the future and the immediate present, of course, right? But if we
Mm-hmm.
forget about this, if we understand this, we have a chance. We have a chance. And we
Mm.
can have hope. We can have hope, because maybe my happiness and my well-being may not be determined by all these external factors that now are just making us crazy. So navigate the future and navigate, the market, is something that is hard, is difficult. It does not depend on us, right? But what does depend on us
Mm-hmm.
is to, you know work on this metacognition, right? Work on this degree of understanding, and this degree of finding meaning, right? And not be alarmed, right? Because, if you have a bit of perspective, you'll understand that the human history, the history of humanity, is filled with ups and downs and conflicts, and,
Mm.
eras where, you know unfortunately half of the population disappeared, and eras of prosperity and whatever. So I'm probably I'm not the one to to say any of this, because I've been lucky to have had, a good, you know um a good life, and studies and whatever. But I guess it's important to kind of have that idea in mind, at least, right? Even though you have come from, let's say, from a privileged country, and with kind of good opportunities, whatever. I guess it's our duty to look at other parts of the world and other people that haven't been as lucky as we are, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
when bad things happen, then really, really, we can feel as one humanity. Yes, instead of just being scared and running off, which it's nonsense. Yeah, well, if something bad happens, well, yeah, I was saying about the fact that, we should be sensitive to the world as a whole, to the parts that are having trouble, that are, to the parts um, that are, in pain, right? To the pain of the world, right? We need to be sensitive to the pain of the world, because then we can be prepared somehow.
We are at the first part.